where is the body? That was the question. Where is the body? And why was this question? Because in the days of the divine rights of the king could simply take over the body and property of anybody. And to me, and I would like to put it to those of you who are lawyers here, because I really think habeas corpus was not just the first element of human rights that civilization and mankind began to understand. It was the first articulation of property rights, that is, property in one's own person. Which is why torture and which is why all the other imprisonment, illegal detention becomes an issue. Because you are capturing somebody else's person. Yeah, person and liberty, of course. If you are confined, then your liberty is also gone. But primarily, you have been taken in without, and which is one of the first things that actually came up in one of the documents that I have said. And and property, of course, means that from the body it becomes what you think. That's also yours. And your actions, which are products of your thought, could also be yours. If you have worked and you have thought of something, you have created something, so that legitimately yours.
When slave is a property.
At that time it is. At that time it did, and which is what we must understand. History is not black and white. History has no right or wrong. History only has circumstance which was there, and what have we learned so that we don't do it again. There is nothing to say that slavery was wrong before. It is in today's context that slavery would be described as crime. 200 years ago, it wouldn't have been. Many societies practiced. Yeah, and even today, CNN ran a program saying slavery today, where they're talking of human trafficking and prostitution and child trafficking and all that. Of course. Which is why we should be, very careful on passing judgment on history. History is not open to judgment, because history is what has happened. We have to accept it as in the context of what has happened. We can't change history. What we can do is not repeat the same tragedies and the same blunders and the bloodshed of it. So that is how I believe the ownership from body to ownership of land, capital, asset and private ownership actually evolved. And the whole civilization is actually, human civilization, if you look at it in my perspective, is a civilization of a movement from public to private realm. There was a time when even all women were common in community. Children were common property of community. Is that the time that any one of us today would think desirable or would like to go back to? I don't think so. The history of civilization, too, in the way I began to understand history, was a movement of mankind increasingly away from public realm to private. Few thousand years ago, everything was public. You had no private toilet. All your private acts would be public. There was no privacy itself. There was not much of a distinction more than 10,000 years ago between animals and men. But today, that is a clear demarcation that animals don't demand privacy. We can grant them privacy. Animals don't demand privacy. We do. And that is part of this evolution of our understanding of how society is changing. And this is what I've been saying since morning, that property to democracy. And of course the rule of law, etc. I'll come back to this. No, bit of history again, because I really found it fascinating, and which I mentioned. I'll not spend much time, but you can just see from this that at every stage, if you know any history of these periods, and to me the most fascinating one, of course, is the Magna Carta on June 15, 1250. At each of these states, what drove, to me, the defining characteristic of that period was an increasing demand for private, respect for private property. And And you know how this happened, and that's why I said that I learned enormously looking at or thinking of Magna Carta. Because much of what we practice today, our law and our institutions are at least colored or influenced by what we inherited from the British, and they have inherited that. So it's a huge, I don't know how many of you even, apart from the name Magna Carta or the Charter, how many of you would actually have really looked at it? Because I did. Even a few years ago I had. What it was amazing. And a consequence of feudalism that was in England today, not just in England, that was the norm all across the world 1,000 years ago. What they did was, the king, King John in England, and the lord, or his subordinate chieftain, whatever you want to call him, the large property owner, they faced an increasing problem. The problem was that Kim was invoking his